know a lot of people are saying, why not Kevin Durant to the Detroit Pistons? Let's talk about it. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. There's a rumor going out there saying that Kevin Durant maybe want to go to the Houston Rockets. So I don't know how actually true that rumor is. But for the sake argument, people saying he exactly what the Pistons are missing. Is that the case? I don't know. They can use a 3-and-D guy. They can use a guy like that, to be honest. Yeah, I think they can use a guy like that, man. But he older. I think he 37 years old, Kevin Durant. Really at the end of his twilight, so he can always continue to play at 36, 37 on September 29th. He can always play with the, back to the basket. He's skilled enough to really play that stretch four position. Still agile enough to get out there and guard the way he need to guard good enough. But I just feel at this point with Kevin Durant is I think he need to go on a team that's on the cusp. Now, some people may argue and say, well, the Pistons are on the cusp of winning the championship. They are close to winning the championship. We almost there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really think, Durant is that piece. And what assets you giving up? I don't think you giving up too much more for him than you would for a guy like Zion Williamson. Honestly, I don't think you giving up, really. I really want to give up. I wouldn't want to give up much for him. And that's just my humble opinion. On this last leg, how much longer, how much longer do you think, he gonna play well? I'm not giving up nothing of concrete, maybe some draft picks, but I'm not giving up anything of value for him. And I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it all the way real. Like, why would I give up of anything of value for Kevin Durant and he on this last leg? He in the twilight of his career. Maybe some draft picks and maybe a guy like, I don't know, Sasser. But other than that, no, I'm not giving up a bunch for him. But, he can be that stretch forward. You can, you get him to the playoffs. K can carry him and do their thing. Ivy and K can carry him, whoever else, they can do it. I mean, cool. But I'm not hedging all bets on that. Houston feel like, hey, we this piece away. Maybe so. Detroit might feel like we this piece away. Maybe so. But I'd rather go out there either let the young guys develop, get a guy like Devin Booker or something like that, and then older Kevin Durant, because you got a maybe 2-year window. You get the most out of them. So 2-year window is is that good enough? Do you feel like the Pistons window for 2 years? Then you start to depend on him. His body started breaking down. You got to manage him. Why not get a guy like Devin Booker? You're gonna have to overpay because they don't want to move him, but you're gonna have to overpay. You're gonna have to overpay. You're gonna have to overpay. But you get somebody younger, you know what I'm saying, that you can build with or build around K and be good. Real talk. Real talk. So, but from a basketball standpoint of view, I understand it. I definitely understand it. But do you think the Pistons in one or two seasons can get what they need to get with him? That's the question. You think Kevin Durant got 3 or 4 high-level seasons left? I say 2. 2. I say 2. 2. Damn, Mad Sheep, I know he ain't gonna want to let him go for nothing. I know he ain't gonna let Kevin Durant go for the low. So if I'm about to spend some assets, I'm gonna do it big. I'm gonna go out there either we gonna do some, we gonna do some little minor shit, or we gonna do a big. We gonna continue to develop, or we gonna do a big, or a little bit of minor stuff here and there. Flat out. Yeah, real talk. I don't only go for continue to get the washed up superstars. Nah. Why not change the narrative and go get the superstar? Why not go get the superstar? Somebody young in their prime. Why not, step out of the scope of support and get Giannis? And we all understand the NBA rigged. We get it. We get the NBA is rigged. We seen what happened with Dallas getting the number one overall pick. We knew it. I called that months ago. The NBA not hiding it no more, man. That's why a lot of people opted out of watching the NBA. The highlights better than the game, and you know your team. If you ain't where LeBron at, or you ain't no major market that the NBA care for, you already know you ain't got a best chance in hell. You know you ain't got a best chance in hell. That's the God honest truth. You know you ain't got a best chance in hell. So why even continue to pretend? Why pretend? So that's life. That's life. But yeah, from a stretch forward standpoint, if you ain't asking him to be the guy and do some of the things that he used to be, but you gotta understand it's a short window. It's a short window. It's a short window. So really, when you doing these type of moves, you a team that's on the cusp who just need that little umph to get over in the championship. Maybe if you Minnesota, a little umph. Maybe Memphis, if they still had their shit together, a little umph. I think it's beyond there. So that's just my humble opinion on it. Let me know what y'all think about KD to the Pistons. Hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. I appreciate the love and support. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. But, like I said before, I'm not giving up a whole bunch for Kevin Durant. I just don't think it makes sense. I don't think we that close to get Kevin Durant and just get 2 really good years out of him. Then he fade into the black. So let me know what y'all think. Peace.